right then. Don't come out tonight. You're bound to get your love. There's a battle on the rise.
Hey, are you coming?
I am. Take a look at this. Oh, look at you.
I thought we agreed we were both going to wear costumes.
Hey man, I tried to get into this.
You look like a delicatessen.
You look good too. Can we both agree that we're wearing crappy costumes?
No.
Yeah, well, what are you supposed to be anyway?
I'm Phil from the movie The Midnight Hour. I got the wrong wig though. Let's just talk about the movie.
Okay.
Okay, The Midnight Hour.
Yay, Midnight Hour.
I'm Nathan and this is Ashley.
Hi guys.
And welcome back to Moonlight Movies. And today we're going to talk about one of our favorite Halloween movies.
This is our Halloween movie. This is the movie that one of the movies.
Hocus
well,
Pocus.
One of two movies that we would have to watch on Halloween.
Yeah. This is The Midnight Hour, a made-for-TV movie from 1985 that probably most people have never seen or heard of, although it's been getting a lot of cable airplay since then. But yeah, the DVD release was in 2000, and it is already out of print. It's been out of print for so long.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and right before I was gonna get it. It's out of print, and now it's like really hard to get, and they haven't re-released it. But and it was on VHS for a while before that, and it was made for ABC TV in 1985. Now the really weird thing that I just found out was that it was first aired the day after Halloween.
Why?
It's
That's
a movie
pointless.
about Halloween night, a big Halloween party, a made-for-TV horror movie, and they aired it the day after Halloween. I don't know. I remember watching it. I don't remember it being the day after. Maybe I saw it the following year on a replay.
I didn't realize that this came out in '85.
Well, yeah, that's the year you were born.
Yeah. So
Okay, so yeah,
it
this
seems
is
like
an old one.
87, 88-ish, but it's actually 85.
1985. As if you know, you've seen it. So at one point in the movie, we'll talk about this later, but there's sort of an homage to Michael Jackson's Thriller,
Oh,
which was
yeah.
only like almost 2 years old at that point, just almost.
Oh, yeah.
Just like hugely popular still.
So good.
And yeah, so yeah, it was 1985, and it's about a group of high school kids that kind of look more like post-college, I would say. I don't know how old they are, but that's the impression
I would say they look like senior in college, grad student maybe.
Fair
Just
enough.
post-college.
It's 3 guys, 2 girls. The star of the movie is Phil.
Yeah.
And Phil is just sort of like a kind of geeky guy, but cool enough to hang out with the cool kids.
Right. It's a weird
seems
mix.
like these are the cool
it's
kids.
a weird mix of kids. You got the kind of nerdy, geeky guy. You got
the girl he's crushing on who,
Right.
How would you describe her?
I guess they're just too popular.
She seems like a popular girl, yeah. And then the other girl, and then they both, are like popular type girls. And then there's the friend who
just moved from New York.
There's that one who just moved from New York, and then there's the other friend. The characters are well developed, but I can't describe them, and maybe this is a good thing. I can't say like the football player, the cheerleader,
Well, I do know, the other guy is a jock.
Is he a jock? Okay,
yeah,
I didn't catch that, or I forgot. But okay, so you've got a jock. Which one's the jock? LeVar Burton or the other guy?
The other guy.
Okay, the other. That's what I would figure.
Yeah.
Okay, LeVar Burton from Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
plays the new. Well, I don't know if he's new, but he's moved from New York.
Yeah, and he's constantly talking about New York. He can't stand.
They're in a small town now in Maine.
Pitchford Cove. It's
Pitchford
called
Cove,
yeah.
Formerly Pitchfork Cove.
Well, no, they just used to call it that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it just got the nickname.
I've seen this a million times, and I always thought that was the original name.
No.
Okay, Pitchford Cove. A home to a history of witches and that Salem-ish stuff. You know, it's kind of a Salem type place. Salem, Massachusetts. Is it set in Massachusetts?
It is.
It is. Okay.
Yes.
So it's Pitchford, Massachusetts. And
I don't even know if that's a real place.
No, I don't think it is.
No.
And we're following this group of kids. Phil, like I said, LeVar Burton. We mentioned him. And you have Sherry Belafonte, who is the girlfriend of LeVar Burton.
Super fun.
Yeah, she's cool. And she's a big character in this movie. They're all, except for Phil, who's clearly the star, they're all pretty major, this group. They each get their own good development, I would say. And what's the other? Mitch. Mitch is the other guy.
Okay.
You said he was a jock. He's the son of the judge, who is a mean drunk and
judge.
Yeah, horrible father. And
he was the guy from the original Body Snatchers.
I want to say Kevin McCarthy.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He's always fun
from
to watch.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original, like you said. And who's the last girl? It's a Michelle Pfeiffer's sister.
Yes, and we're gonna let you decide who that is.
It's the other. We have to say.
We have to tell you this story because for years we had been watching this movie and we thought that this other chick, who is the girl from Tron.
There's a substitute teacher in this movie, who, it's like when you hear Michelle Pfeiffer's sister is in this movie. Her name is Dee Dee Pfeiffer. When you hear that name, when you see that name in the credits. Okay, right away you're going to be looking for Michelle Pfeiffer's sister, right? And then you see the girl from Tron, who is a substitute teacher in this movie.
She's got the bone structure of Michelle Pfeiffer. She just looks like
gorgeous.
The sister of Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, and she's actually the girl from Tron and also Caddyshack. Not Michelle Pfeiffer's sister.
So, yeah.
Michelle Pfeiffer's sister is the last friend we were about to mention.
Right.
Her name is Melissa.
No.
No, Melissa is Sherry Belafonte. No, it's Mary. Mary. Okay, Mary is actually Michelle Pfeiffer's sister.
Yeah.
You wouldn't guess it. I wouldn't guess it. Would you?
I wouldn't either. No, we were so surprised.
Yeah.
I remember that night that we found out that.
Yeah.
We're like, what?
Yeah, and yeah, she's also in the movie Vamp, which we also
I love that movie.
like a lot.
Such a good movie.
Yeah. We'll have to do that one sometime. But yeah, so it's this group of kids. It's 5 kids, teenagers supposedly, and they're it's Halloween. Well, actually, the movie doesn't start with them. The movie starts off with a paperboy.
Yes.
Getting ready to go out on his route, and at the very first sound we hear is the little kid cutting himself, right?
He cuts he's putting the bicycle card on his
putting the card on his wheel spokes of his bike,
and he cuts his finger, and then all of a sudden you hear Wolfman Jack say, "Look out! It's the midnight hour!" And it's perfect. Wolfman Jack is in this movie, and he's fantastic.
His voice is in this movie.
He's got a radio show on Halloween night, and the kids are constantly tuning into the radio show, whether they're in the car or at the party or wherever they are.
And that provides the soundtrack for the movie. It's very much like American Graffiti.
Yes.
Yeah, except you don't actually see at any point.
And this soundtrack is fantastic.
It's a great soundtrack. It's like classic what, like 50s and 60s rock.
A couple of remakes here and there, but
yeah. But yeah, it's and even
stuff.
some like 70s stuff. Yeah. So yeah, it's a great soundtrack. We start right off with Wolfman Jack, and then we hear the instrumental stuff, which is not the Wolfman Jack. No. His show starts later in the evening. But anyway, so this kid is throwing his papers. We kind of see the town, which is a very hocus pocus kind of town. It's a little like Salem-y kind of town. Seems like a nice place to live kind of thing.
You got Red from that 70s
Red Foreman
show.
from that 70s show is the sheriff.
Yeah.
He gets his paper and says, He hates Halloween, right? And so we see these characters, and then we get to Phil's house.
Right.
And Phil is there having breakfast with his family. His father is Dick Van Patten. I remember him from a lot of Disney movies.
And he's a dentist.
Yeah, he's a dentist. He's like the town dentist.
His mom is Scully's mom from the X-Files.
Would not have known that.
Always known that.
She knows the X-Files. So yeah. So they're having breakfast, and there's a little sister who's a little smart aleck, teenager barely, I'd say, young teenager, and they have their banter. And
it's very Happy Days almost.
Yeah, it's kind of Happy Days kind of a feel to it. Yeah, he's very much like a Richie Cunningham character.
Oh, totally.
That's a good point. Yeah, and
she's very much Joni.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. And the dad and everything. And they're sort of teasing him because he has a crush on Mary, Michelle Pfeiffer's real sister, believe it or not. And,
who are you going to take to the dance tonight? Mary.
Don't call me Mary!
Exactly. The way she delivers that line is hilarious.
I just want him to say, don't call me Mary. So, we follow Phil to school, and then we meet the other friends that we already talked about. And they're in class playing hangman and talking about the party and stuff like that. And then we see the teacher come in, the substitute teacher, that we thought was Michelle Pfeiffer's sister. Because some reason I didn't register also that it was the girl from Tron, who is adorable. Yeah. I particularly like her in Tron with the big glasses and everything.
Oh, yeah.
These kind of...
The 80s glasses.
Yeah. There's the whole Halloween planning, and then class starts.
The whole thing is they're excited about this party that they're...
and they're talking about getting costumes.
Melissa is throwing tonight, and they're
at Melissa's house.
Costumes and all this stuff. Yeah.
Right. So they decide to go to.
First of all, Phil gives his report.
He gives his report on Pitchford Cove, which is where I got the idea that it was called Pitchfork Cove.
Right.
But,
apparently it became known as Pitchford Cove because of all of the witch disaster stuff.
Which actually was Melissa's great grandmother.
The witch that started everything and caused this huge curse all over the town was Melissa's great grandma. Lucinda, right? And Phil's great grandfather was
the witch hunter,
Nathaniel something.
Yeah, I forgot. So they get their little report on Halloween and the history of the town, and
nobody listens.
Nathaniel Grenville.
Ooh, yeah, very good.
Because it's Phil Grenville also, and which I have no idea how Dick Van Patten fits in. They're like these heroic, handsome guys.
I know.
Somehow Dick Van Patten was born in this family, and then back to the heroic guys.
It happens. It's one of them.
And the star is Lee Montgomery, who plays Phil. He was in Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Yes, and I gotta say, I really like what's his name?
Lee Montgomery, who plays Phil.
I do like him. I've always liked him in this, and then I saw him in Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
And
it killed it for me.
A lot of girls like him from Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Well, he's trying to dance in that movie, and he can't dance at all.
She knows dance. Oh, yeah. Okay.
No.
Well, I didn't watch that movie because...
show somebody twirling really fast up in the sky, and then they cut to his face real quick, so it's like him doing it. It's ridiculous.
Luckily, it didn't ruin this movie for me because I didn't watch it yet. I don't know. Maybe I will someday. Anyway, so from school, while they're at school, Mitch gets a hot idea.
Oh, yes.
A really hot idea.
It's really hot.
They use the word hot a lot in this. Everything's hot.
I know. I was
very hot.
Is there something wrong with the Earth's temperature?
Yeah,
in the future?
Like yeah, I don't know. But so his idea is to go borrow the costumes from the museum, like witch hunting museum that they have in town.
Totally borrowing.
So they go to borrow them, and
on their way over there, they turn the.
Is it on the way over?
They turn the radio
on.
on.
Or on the way?
It's
on later.
Oh, maybe it's later.
I think it's after.
Yeah, okay.
They go over there. They get their they break and entering, breaking and entering, and they get into the museum
and Phil the whole time is just saying, "Come on, you guys, you shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this. You shouldn't be doing this."
He's totally against this, and they get down into the basement, I guess.
And they find a big trunk.
They find a big trunk full of costumes
and stuff, and amongst other things. And they decide, hey, well, where are we going to take this? Oh, no, they decide that in the car.
They find a scroll in the trunk.
They don't find it yet.
They don't find that yet? Oh, okay.
So...
okay, so they decide they're going to go to the graveyard to check out their costumes or something.
And they decide this on the road, on their way there, when they're listening to Wolfman Jack.
Okay. And so they go try on their costumes in the graveyard. Why not? And Melissa dresses as her great, I don't know, grandmother. And Phil dresses as his ancestor, also the one who put down the grandmother, however he did it, with some kind of curse or whatever, some kind of spell.
Oh, does he dress as him?
Yeah. Oh no, he doesn't. No. Mitch dresses as Mitch dresses as Phil's ancestor. Yeah.
Because he doesn't have a costume.
Because Phil dresses like this. Because Phil already had this awesome idea.
Look at this costume. It's like David Bowie meets Dracula.
Exactly. And I did get the wrong wig, but it's similar. It's very similar. But yeah, so he doesn't use these stolen costumes. But
so they're out in the graveyard and they're trying to put their costumes on or whatever. And then they find this scroll in the bottom of the trunk and they start reading it and it's a curse. Yeah. That was put on. But what's his face starts reading it first.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Reading
Mitch.
Rainbow.
Is it Mitch? No. Okay. Okay, Reading Rainbow guy, Vinny
is his name is his character in this movie. He starts reading the scroll first, and I don't think it would have worked.
You don't think?
I really don't think the curse would have worked.
Probably not, because
then he hands it, because then Belafonte.
Yeah, who's Melissa?
Melissa grabs the scroll,
descendant
and says,
of the witch.
I should be doing this because it's in my blood. And then when she starts reading it, that's when the thunder starts happening and everything starts getting all smoky and creepy. So I really do think it would not have worked previously.
Probably right. That's a good point, and I never thought about that. But yeah, so she did it, and it was a terrible idea.
And nothing really happens at that moment. They just kind of hear some sounds or whatever. And then
she pretends to pass out and freaks everybody out. And then everybody's like, oh, let's get out of here.
Right.
And they got out right on time because the dead start rising from the grave, which was, the curse that the witch put on the town. That I guess if they read the scroll, the dead's going to come out of the grave.
None of these people are decaying, by the way.
The dead people?
No. Maybe a couple.
Some of them are, some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And
the main characters aren't.
Okay, here's the really cool thing about this movie. It's not just like zombies.
It's werewolves
too. Lucinda the witch comes out and she looks fine, but she's actually a vampire for some reason.
Super cool. Yeah, she's like a witch vampire.
Yeah.
Strange.
But
we've seen that in Dark Shadows before.
We have, but
I guess it can happen.
Yeah, it was weird. And there's all kinds of stuff coming out of there, and it's a creepy scene. I'll be honest with you.
This movie has some creepy stuff.
It's a low budget TV thing from the 80s, and like you can see where the fog is being piped out of the ground for the foggy cemetery scene. You can see sometimes people bump into like styrofoam tombstones,
And while these people are rising,
but that part is a little creepy.
We see this teenage girl from the 50s. She's dressed in her little cheerleader poodle skirt and everything, and she's taking off the spider webs off of her clothing and stuff, and she's just like, what's happening, And
very hot 50s cheerleader.
We hear this little tinking music. It's like, this is our ingenue of this movie.
And of course her name is Sandy.
Yes.
Because she's the 50s cheerleader classic.
Right.
Yeah. Very Grease thing
Grease-esque.
there. And so then we go back to the gang getting ready for Halloween. While all this is happening, all these dead people are starting to get loose.
And they're all getting ready in their own way at their own houses.
Yeah.
We see their atmosphere.
Right. You have Mitch, who is putting on his costume while his dad is in a drunken rage about the stolen costumes and all that stuff. And you see Vinny putting on whatever.
This was really hard to do. Okay.
This lovely ensemble is inspired by Vinny, I'm pretty sure. And we know Melissa. We know what she's gonna wear, and we don't see Mary again until the party. But
no, because Mary's dealing with her family because I guess her sister's having a baby.
Mary doesn't even think she's gonna make it to the party because her sister's having a baby or something. So she has to babysit her brother. And Phil, he comes downstairs in this awesome outfit, and
his little sister says, "Bodacious."
Rightfully so. And, so it's an interesting thing about this costume also, and all the costumes we see when we get to the party, because maybe this was a thing in the 80s, but it's totally like, let's put two things together.
Meshing a bunch of different things. And I think it was a thing in the 80s. I really do. Because I
was in the 80s, but I don't remember.
But our older sister was more in that age group, and I feel like she did go through that stuff.
Maybe, but I mean, like, at the party, there's like
a football player
in a diaper.
And
I mean, you see some normal stuff. There's like Mary Had a Little Lamb, and there's there's some normal things. But yeah, there's a lot of like mixed things.
Yeah, it's
weird. So the gang starts picking each other up, going over to the party, right? And meanwhile, havoc is already breaking out. Is it pretty much right after Mitch leaves that his dad gets killed, practically?
I think so. His dad is a judge, like we mentioned before, and he convicted this
serial killer who's like very much like you think of him like a Michael Myers or a Jason kind of thing.
Right, his name is Vernon Lester, and he killed
the zombie
people or something. I don't know.
And the zombie version of Vernon Lester,
right, is walking around, and his one thing that he wants to get done tonight is to kill the father of Mitch. So,
but then he probably proceeded to kill many others.
And he does end up killing him. So that happens, and then another person gets attacked outside with his dog.
Oh yeah, there's this guy who like
he's guarding the
he walks around with these two like dogs that I assume are supposed to be half wolf or something, and they're all vicious. And he gets attacked by a werewolf.
Yeah,
just walking down the street of town. It's already like there's nobody in town because it's a small town. Everything's closed up and it's late. And a werewolf attacks him and makes him a werewolf. So now there's two werewolves on the run.
There's a lot of maniacs running around.
There's just all kinds of... That's why I love this movie. This movie didn't get like a very good reviews.
Do any people know about this movie besides us?
I'll say this, like we were talking about how you can't really get this movie on DVD very easily. It's like it would cost a lot on eBay or something, but it's on YouTube right now.
I don't know. Check this movie out.
I don't know how long this is going to be on YouTube, but it's been on there for years so far.
It is on YouTube, and you will fall in love with this movie. I mean, we've been watching it for years and years.
Some people don't like it, but everybody that I've talked to...
I don't know how you can't like it.
I've talked people into watching it, and they love it. So
I mean, it's not a perfect movie by any means.
It's very campy.
It's fun. It's amazing.
I mean, it's... I don't know if campy is the right word. It's just...
It gets you excited for Halloween. I love watching this movie when I'm actually getting dressed Halloween afternoon, when I'm getting dressed for a party that night or wherever we're going to go. I always watch this movie.
And then we'll actually have many serious watchings of it.
Viewings. Oh, throughout the year, too.
Throughout the year, but especially in October.
Yeah.
This is a perfect Halloween movie, just like Hocus Pocus is a perfect Halloween movie. I mean, they show... Halloween parties, trick-or-treaters, you get to see all that stuff that you want to see and you don't usually see. And that's why I like horror movies. I mean, I love horror movies, but I do like to watch them at the Halloween season, but even more I like to watch movies that are about Halloween. I would like to see more horror movies about Halloween.
Yeah.
Trick-or-Treat is like my favorite horror movie that's about Halloween.
Right.
But and we'll talk about that sometime. But it's a perfect Halloween movie. People are getting randomly attacked, and then we go back to the party, right? We finally see the party, right?
Right.
Well, Phil's headed towards the party, though.
Oh yes, and he runs in Well,
he accidentally
runs
runs into one of the zombies, actually.
Oh, yes, he
which
does.
Makes
and
him very
he's
concerned.
He's just wearing a costume, and the zombie just walks off, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then
he's driving a car. Phil's driving a car. So.
A beautiful 50s car.
Right. Yeah. Gorgeous. Perfect for what happens. Mm-hmm. He comes across Sandy.
He's stopped at a train light. I don't know what those are called.
Where he sees this girl, the perfect cheerleader who came up out of the ground. And unlike everyone else, looks perfect.
Yes.
And he's sort of has a little fantasy while
and she says,
while
"Hi,
viewing her.
where are you going?"
And
he's like, that's not the I don't know. And
she flirts.
Yeah,
and
there's banter.
He,
and,
is
says,
just
maybe
in love.
I'll see you later. And she says, well, maybe I'll see you later too. And then
he invites her to the party.
Yes.
She doesn't want to go because she's...
No, she hasn't said that yet. She's like, okay, great. That might be fun later.
Oh, she says, maybe later.
And then as she walks off, she strokes the car. The front of the car.
It's very hot. She's pretty outstanding. And, so he makes his way to the party where Mitch... is already there with Vinny. Mitch picked up Vinny.
Yeah, and he's noticing... Excuse me. He's noticing... Phil, particularly, is noticing all these strange...
All these weirdos.
Guys and people walking around. Nobody else seems to be noticing them at all.
Well, it's Halloween and people are in costumes.
Yeah.
But, and a couple of them make their way to the party, even.
They all get to the party, pretty much. And then... everybody's at the party except for
well, at this point the party is mostly like high school teenagers,
right?
But there are a couple of those zombies there, and they seem cool. They're totally just enjoying the party. One of them is the guy that Phil hit with his car.
Yeah, and there's a couple there. The guy that Phil hit with the car.
Finds a female zombie, and they're just on the couch.
Like making out on the couch.
Which is pretty hilarious.
And they find popcorn in this big coffin, which is pretty cool. Yeah. I like the decorations. And he's just like all excited with the popcorn. And Phil's just taking all this in and just amazed. And then
Phil is not comfortable with this evening, but he's
desperately searching for Mary.
He's there for Mary. He wants to, finally get something going with Mary.
But Mary's not there, of course, because she's babysitting her brother. And so Phil is kind of bummed out about that. And our friend Reading Rainbow is
trying to
make it with his girlfriend
Melissa.
Yeah.
He thinks this is the night, whatever that means.
And Melissa is like, oh no. It's not.
So
back up.
There's a constant struggle there, and Mitch has a thing for the what do you call them? Substitute teacher.
Oh yeah, the substitute teacher arrives.
She shows up at the party. She's calling herself a chaperone.
Faux Pfeiffer. Let's just call her Faux Pfeiffer.
The Faux Pfeiffer. Who from Tron. Yeah. She shows up dressed as David Bowie.
Such an awesome costume, and I want to wear that costume.
It's clearly a David Bowie costume, but she still looks good. And so she's there with a date who's just dressed like
everybody's having fun. And later on, Mary finally arrives, and
Mary used her babysitting money to hire a babysitter.
Hire somebody else to babysit her brother.
She used her money to hire a babysitter.
Right.
So,
and she brought a bunch of chains and like a bunch of things just to put something together. And she has a crush on this other dude who is there. And
dressed like Frankenstein.
He's dressed like Frankenstein, a weird 80s kind of Frankenstein.
What do you call that hairstyle? Like an Elvis hairstyle thing there.
And Melissa goes up to her and says, what do you want to be? And she goes, let's go make me the Bride of Frankenstein. So they go upstairs to go dress her up as Bride of Frankenstein. Yeah. And Phil is kind of just hanging out downstairs.
Phil's hanging out. Mitch is trying to get the substitute. And it's weird that the substitute showed up at this party, but
so as they're dressing
totally
up,
inappropriate.
As Melissa and Mary are upstairs, they're talking about Melissa's relationship and saying she's not ready for whatever
for whatever Vinny's after.
And then all of a sudden this random woman arrives, and she's dressed in this kind of
Salem kind of outfit.
witch outfit. As is Melissa. I don't know if we mentioned this, but we are. Melissa's wearing her old outfit.
Yeah, Melissa's also dressed like Lucinda.
Her grandma's old outfit that she found in the trunk. And yeah, so Lucinda arrives, and she's just acting kind of creepy and wondering what's going on.
She's totally creeping on everybody.
Yeah. But I mean, the girls kind of notice it, they kind of don't. And then they get done dressing up, and then they just go downstairs, and the woman, Lucinda, follows them. And
yeah, and let's see.
The party goes on and on.
The party goes on. We're seeing Mitch strike out with Mary, and we're also
Phil strikes out with Mary.
I mean Phil. Yeah, Mitch actually gets to dance with a substitute, and Vinny's striking out with Melissa so far, and Mary tries to get with Frankenstein. She strikes out.
Well, she hasn't. She didn't strike out yet. Actually, Phil decides to leave.
Well, yeah, Phil gets frustrated when Mary won't talk to him because she's busy talking to Frankenstein.
Right.
So Phil gets frustrated. He's having a rough night, and he's just had enough. So he goes.
Yeah. And he runs into
Sandy
again. And Sandy's so depressed because she's realizing that this is not the home that she left.
She can't find her house.
She can't find her house.
She can't find anything. The malt shop is gone.
It's gone. The music's horrible.
Yeah, so we do see beforehand, we see her wandering around,
Sometimes
just getting more and more frustrated with that. And
I really do. Where's the darn malt shop?
Yeah, there's like a movie theater there now. It's just all wrong. And she runs into Phil, who is heading home because he's given up.
So they decide to hang out.
And
she really wants to do things that she never got to do when she was alive, so she decides to go to Makeout Point.
Oh, well, first she wants to go to the malt shop. He can't. He's like, there's no malt shop. They run into some guys who want to. She wants to race them.
She goes, hey buddy, want to drag?
Yeah. So she causes Phil to do these horrible things like drag race and stuff. And then she gets all excited from the drag race, and she's like, let's go to Makeout Point.
Oh my God.
And so they go to. Well, he's like, there's not going to be anybody at Makeout Point. But she's like, well, let's go anyway. So they go to Makeout Point, and
she thinks things will be hopping.
The outfit smells.
It's falling apart on me, I gotta say.
Yeah, she goes with him, and they do start making out, and it looks awesome. And taking it off. Just take it. Yeah. So while they're at Makeout Point trying to make point, the werewolf shows up, and this is why you shouldn't have a convertible. Because they can slash through those things like nothing.
No kidding. They really can.
Yeah, and because they've put the top up so they can make out, because you have to do that, I guess. And then the werewolf shows up and starts slashing, and they freak out, and they take off. At the moment, Mitch, does not know he's with a ghost either. So they go to the police station.
It's not Mitch, it's Phil.
I keep calling him Mitch.
It's Phil, guys. Don't get
Phil.
it mixed up with Mitch.
Phil freaks out, and they go to the police station. And
Red is there.
Red is like we said, Red is the sheriff or police chief or whatever. And of course he doesn't believe any of this because they're getting all these reports from all over town about werewolves and vampires and zombies and all kinds
of... It adds up to let's all have fun with the cops.
Yeah, somebody's being a dumbass. And everybody's being a dumbass. So... so that doesn't work. The fuzz doesn't help them. And what do they do after that? Do they?
Well, meanwhile, at the party.
Cut to the party.
Yeah, we're cutting to the party, and the faux Pfeiffer, she wants more wine for the chaperones, and so she makes Belafonte, Melissa, go downstairs and get more wine. So while she's down there picking out a bottle of wine.
The creeper shows up. Lucinda, the witch.
And she's
helping.
Melissa is like, I just don't know which one to get, white or red. And
red, definitely.
Definitely red.
That's a line.
And then that is a line from the movie. And she immediately pounces on
her great granddaughter, and the wine bottles start popping corks.
Popping everywhere.
The wine bottles are flying off the rack just because of, I guess, all the supernatural
and the music,
electricity going on.
The theme music from Charmed starts playing, and it's just like
yeah, it's all slow motion vampire biting scene, and then up at the party. We see, what do we see?
Well, it cuts back to
Phil. Well, it cuts back to Phil, but probably where we already talked about.
Right. And well, Phil, no, because Phil, did we already talk about how Phil and Sandy, they're talking about the curse and stuff?
Well, no, they do start to talk about the curse.
Because after they leave the police station, they do start talking about the curse. And this might not be in the exact order, so don't,
Yeah,
we're not sure about this, but I mean, this is basically what happens.
Sandy starts to say that she's seen this kind of thing before.
Which I have never understood. I don't know if this is how she died in the 50s, or if she just remembered the curse from what he had said and from her waking up, or how that worked.
Yeah, or maybe somebody woke them up before. That doesn't seem likely. I guess probably she was with a group of friends and they...
Maybe. That would be funny.
They woke up all... No, then the town would be gone, maybe.
Not if they fixed it.
But she's still dead,
she's dead.
Which makes things interesting for later, but we'll talk about that later.
Maybe it's just because she heard the curse while she was waking up. I don't know. Anyway, so...
Maybe maybe she... because when they were waking her up, like you said.
Right.
Yeah, it's a riddle, but
so they start scheming to
stop the curse,
and meanwhile, back at the house at the party, Lucinda and her great granddaughter, Melissa, are wreaking havoc on everybody and turning them all into these weird vampire creatures. And so, one by one, we see our friends getting turned into these horrible creatures. Mary and
Vinny.
Mm-hmm.
And we know later we see Mitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mitch gets it too.
But so Melissa, possessed by Lucinda, starts turning everybody, and then she has this one magical way of just turning everybody at one point.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, which is a musical number.
Which is amazing. She breaks out into song, and
yeah, this is the song that is not provided by Wolfman Jack's soundtrack.
I'm dead. You're
a big
dying.
Dance number at the party.
Everybody should try again.
Sherry Belafonte singing that song,
and everybody's doing
and
this.
It's clearly ripping off Thriller because they're doing the.
Well, this is the wolf from
the Big Bad Wolf.
Big Bad Wolf.
Teen Wolf is like the best.
Yeah,
werewolf movie. No, it's one of my favorite movies. But that's okay. So so they have a big dance number in this movie that I guess finishes transforming everybody at the party into zombie type vampires.
And everybody's dancing.
Things.
Everybody's having fun.
Right, and then so we come, back. We see Mitch and Sandy, and they're back at his house because he's using silver from the dentist's office and trying to make silver bullets so they can fight. If they run into any werewolves, they can fight them.
And then they run into his dad. His dad is there. He had been turned into a vampire, and it is really sad.
Oh yeah, does he kill him? I don't remember if he kills his dad.
No, he just runs out. Okay. I think.
didn't call, and I might have called. Did I call him Mitch again? It's Phil. I don't know if I did. Phil. So Phil. And then Phil and Sandy, they have figured out that they need the ring from Phil's ancestor, Nathaniel.
So they have to go back to the party because Mitch
had the ring. Oh yeah, okay.
With his costume.
So that's why they go back to the party.
So they go back to the party, and then they notice that everything that is wrong with the town has hit the party, and so.
Oh yeah, is this before or after they're driving through the town and it's all creepy? This is before, right?
I don't know.
I think it is. Yeah. Okay, they go back to the party
and everything is just deserted.
Oh yeah, the party, the house of the party when they walk in is all dark and
it looks like a haunted house that has never been open in years. It's really creepy.
And then we see all of their friends coming down the stairs or something, and they get chased into the kitchen or somewhere, and luckily. Mitch's arm is reaching through the door, and so they're able to get the ring off his finger.
Get the ring out, out, and then they make a mad dash
to the car, and then back to the cemetery. But on the way, they're driving through town.
There's this montage of all the different characters that have been, or the creatures that have been awakened by this.
And all the people in town who have been transformed. And there's like a milkman.
What the worst one is? That milkman
wasting all that milk.
Pouring that damn milk everywhere and wasting it.
We like
horrible.
Milk. Horrible. So, yeah, it's this really like ethereal, creepy scene where they drive through there, and but then they make it to the cemetery. Mm-hmm. And as far as we know, these are like the last two people in town. Is Phil and Sandy, here in their car, right?
Right.
They make it to the cemetery, and they're getting ready to do the spell again or whatever, seal it like they have to. I guess they have to get they have to get something from the grave. Is it the ashes of? Yes. Okay, I think so. They need the ashes, I think, from Phil's ancestor, and to mix it with some wax and pour it and reseal the scroll.
Oh, did we mention that he ran into the faux Pfeiffer again?
No, but this is when it happens. She pops up in the back seat of the car.
Right.
When they get back to the cemetery, right?
And they think that she's there,
she's
escaping
everybody. Escaping with them. She seems normal.
So
of course they've got the scroll now. They're in the car. A whole bunch of zombies and creatures are now trying to get into the car.
No?
No. Why?
So they're driving up to the cemetery, and they realize, or actually no, back at the party, sorry guys, back at the party they realize that faux Pfeiffer is in the backseat of the car.
Is it at the party?
So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so that's when they start driving away to the cemetery, and they get to the cemetery, and they get out of the car, and they go into the...
they go to the grave where
to the mausoleum.
Is in the mausoleum, okay.
And they
get
start,
the ashes.
They start getting the ashes and everything, and then Phil forgets. Actually, no. They kill faux Pfeiffer before they get into the mausoleum.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So because she starts to pounce on Phil with her vampire teeth, and so he kills her. Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're in the mausoleum when they're. I don't know why I was thinking they were in their car. But yeah, they're in the mausoleum.
They're about to seal the parchment, and then.
Because that's how you end the spell.
Right. Mary realizes that she doesn't have the matches.
Not Mary, Sandy.
Sandy, excuse me, Sandy.
See,
right.
Not just me, but yeah, Sandy is like, "Where's the matches?" Or Phil is like, "Where's the matches?" And the other one's like,
"She's like, I don't have the matches."
Yeah, somebody's like, "I don't have the matches."
She's speaking really fast.
So there's no matches.
No.
And,
so they have to go back to the car and get the matches.
Oh, okay. So they do end up in the car.
And they do end up in the car, and they're fumbling and they're trying to get everything fixed and stuff, and that's when the creatures
are all
come
clawing
over
at the car.
and clawing at the car, and they're climbing all over, and they're about to die horribly.
And until they're like, they've got the thing sealed and it's not working, and he's like, "Are there some words or something?"
And Sandy just says, "I love you," and he's like, "What?"
Quantum leap out of
and
there.
then all of a sudden,
quantum leap, everything is
Phil
changed.
says, "Oh boy."
Yeah. Yeah, because all of a sudden everything's gone, and it's just Phil in the car.
Yeah.
And
his car's fixed, by the way.
Yeah.
His car had previously been slashed, I think we said before, by the Wolfman. And his car's immediately fixed. Like, everything seems like it's fixed. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I've always been like, how come, I always thought that, I don't know, it was left unknown. Like, is the whole town dead now? Or I thought it was like a mystery. But I never caught that the car was fixed.
Right, the car was fixed. So I think everything went back to normal.
Everything should be back to normal.
Alive again or whatever, So, then he starts driving away. First of all, he's like, "Where did Sandy go?"
Oh yeah.
And then he starts driving away, and
is he driving away
at
that point? No, he's still in the cemetery,
and he's
about to, or he's over by. He finds her grave. He finds her grave because I guess his cloak is on there or something.
And then there's some. She wrote
in lipstick.
Oh, we forgot to mention her lipstick.
Tutti Frutti.
Yeah, she's about to put her lipstick on in the car
when they're gonna make out.
Tutti Frutti.
which is
so funny.
Yeah. Okay.
And so Phil, by the way, this previous whole time, he's just like completely oblivious to everything, and he's just like, okay, I don't know.
Yeah. Hey, you know, when you're just this is like your first makeout and stuff.
It's cute.
You don't know.
It's cute.
You don't know what's going on.
So,
just kind of
anyway.
Yeah, actually, throughout the whole time that they're like hanging out, he's just kind of like. She's kind of starts to give him the directions of what to do.
Yeah, and he's just like, okay.
You know, that's how it is. That's how it is.
And then, so anyway, he's back and he sees the gravestone, and she had written their initials on the gravestone with her lipstick.
The heart and everything.
And then he says, "I love you too, Sandy." And then he starts driving away, and we hear Wolfman Jack on the radio, and he says, "This is one we had to get out there right away. It's from a girl." Her name's Sandy.
This is from Sandy to Phil. And I don't remember what song it is. Is it like
Baby, I'm yours?
Which is more like a 60s song, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that had not
There's a little bit
of
that going on.
She had passed away.
Yeah, and it's all sweet, and
it's
he's like, he's over by the grave, and he's like, "I love you too, Sandy," and it's real sad.
And they drive off, and he drives off, and the song's playing, and that is the end of the movie.
And it is an amazing Halloween.
It's so fantastic. You guys have to see it. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
And there's that part at the beginning. There's a part at the beginning where the dad is doing his dental work, and Phil is there, and the dad has got a patient there, and the patient is like wants Phil to meet her niece.
Right.
And he's like, I gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of think, from that at the end of the movie, when Sandy's gone, you think that he's gonna meet the niece, and it's gonna be Sandy or something. We don't ever see it. They never.
What's the movie? They do that. They do that in a lot of movies.
A lot of movies.
They do that in Goosebumps, and they do that. Well, not.
Did
really.
they do that?
Not
No.
really.
In Goosebumps,
It was.
I think they were probably gonna do something like that.
Pink
but they
Power
didn't.
Ranger.
Oh, that was it. Peggy Sue.
Peggy Sue.
Is that what it's called? Not
Yeah.
Peggy Sue. It wasn't Peggy Sue, but it's something. It's something like Peggy Sue.
God, it's killing me because I watch this a lot. So.
Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's Peggy Sue. I think it's a different movie.
I don't know.
But yeah, with
Susie Q.
Susie Q.
Susie Q.
With the original Pink Ranger, and yeah, they do that at the end of that movie. Okay, yeah. Well, that doesn't happen. That is a total loose end. He doesn't ever meet that lady's niece or anything.
Which we thought it was gonna happen.
It just ends. He just drives away after the. Seeing the initials on the stone, and
which kind of sucks for Mitch because he's still stuck with his alcoholic
Phil?
father.
Oh, Mitch, yeah.
Alcoholic father.
I thought you were, yeah.
No.
I thought you were pulling a me and calling Phil Mitch. But Phil, drives away, and yeah, we assume everything's back to normal. Of course, but they don't show anything.
They don't show anything. No.
We don't see.
It's just like the very last thing we see is him driving off in the car.
Yeah, but apparently the car's fixed, so everything's fixed.
Yeah, that's what I think. I don't know.
And yeah, that's the end. Like she said, YouTube. It's on here at the moment.
You guys really need to see it.
It's still here because this is really an awesome Halloween movie, and it's corny, but it's a lot of fun.
It's so much fun.
Yeah,
you guys check it out.
Yeah, it's really good. And if you like 80s stuff, yeah. So yeah, check that out, and hopefully Anchor Bay will release it on Blu-ray sometime.
I would
because
love that.
This movie, they're the ones who released it the first time, and the VHS, and then on DVD also. So fingers crossed. I really need to get it. A friend of mine actually got it on my recommendation, and I still haven't got it.
So frustrating.
So check it out, and can you check out the back of this? It's been itching me like all night.
Oh man, you got a serious rash going on back here.
Great. That's it. The wig comes off, the makeup is gone, and I'm going to bed.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.